Ooh, shock, gasp. Let's find out why Mondo did it, guys. This should be the end of the trial. So let's hop into it without further ado. Well, I would assume yes, with that.
Just by chance. I just happened to see it last night. He walked past me, and he was carrying the tracksuit in his hands.
No, that can't be it either. According to Celeste's testimony,
She stuffed the jacket into her bag in a hurry. It was almost like she was trying to hide it. And just like that, she was gone.
when Celeste noticed it, Chihiro made a point of making sure the jacket was completely in the bag. If you just ran into him briefly, you couldn't possibly have seen what color the tracksuit was.
Yeah.
It would appear you've dug your own grave.
Perhaps. But you handed him the shovel, didn't you? That's why you said what you did. Focus on the tracksuit and it'll be obvious who he met with? What a bunch of nonsense.
Ah, now I understand. It was all one big bluff, wasn't it? Your true intention was to draw a slip of the tongue from the culprit. That's why you said you knew who did it, to put them on edge.
That's right. However, Mondo was my target all along. I had my suspicions about him from the very beginning.
But why? What made you so suspicious?
How heavy that dumbbell was, man.
That's a good question. There was a certain turning point that tipped me off. Maybe you didn't notice it, Mondo, but you tend to refer to men and women differently. You only call guys dude. For girls, it's chick. And after he was killed, you happened to refer to him as dude. Once I picked up on that, it occurred to me that Mondo knew something we didn't.
You notice such a tiny detail?
Well, duh. Girl
Are you
smart.
a witch? She's a witch! You're positively frightful!
No, I'm not the frightful one. Not nearly as frightful as someone capable of murdering a friend.
Mondo, was it really you? Did you really kill Chihiro?
I didn't kill anyone! You've been all over me, judging everything I say, putting words in my mouth. What gives you the right to treat me like a goddamn criminal?
Yeah! He would never do something like that! This is a false accusation!
It's true. My reasoning on that is pretty shaky.
That was fast.
Well, this does present us with a problem. It seems we are all out of leads.
My time has nearly come. That's what my little ghost friend is telling me.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. Hifumi, weren't you telling me you'd found some evidence?
Really? What kind of evidence?
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it here calmly, it might not be all that relevant.
Jeez, does your confidence just get up and walk away? It's fine, man. Just tell us.
If you really insist, then... Here it is.
What do you have there?
It happens to be an e-handbook. I found it laying on the ground, so I scooped it up.
You found it on the ground, right? Then it must belong to Chihiro.
I got it! We know Chihiro's handbook was missing from the scene of the crime, right?
For a fact.
For a fact indeed. I was totally sure I'd found it.
Then it must hold some clue about the culprit, right?
Well, that's what I was hoping. But it's busted. It won't even turn on.
I imagine the culprit broke it to get rid of any evidence after the murder.
That's odd. I didn't think the handbooks were quite so fragile.
You're right. They're not. They're totally waterproof and shock resistant. It would take an awful lot to break one.
And yet, this one does appear to be broken, as is Leon's, sitting useless in the main hall. For all your confidence, that is a remarkably high failure rate.
Do you think there might be some kind of mystery in there somewhere? How precisely did the handbooks get broken?
How did the handbooks get broken? There's only one possible way. By hitting its weak point, by exploding a book, by hacking it, by hitting a weak point.
Got it! You already told us before that the handbook has one weak point, didn't you?
Yeah! You remember that? Sure, maybe I let that slip, but I never told anyone what the weak point actually was.
But if the handbook is supposed to never break, and two of them broke in quick succession, then...
Then we can only assume that someone's figured out its weakness. You know what the weakness is, right, Monokuma? So, what is it?
You're asking me?
I think it's a necessary piece of information if you want this to be a fair trial.
But if I tell you, and someone else decides to copy it, that would be very not good.
Just tell us already! Why would we want to break our own handbooks?
Oh well, I have a weakness for pushy demands. But you're sure you won't follow their example?
Absolutely not. You've got to be able to look at the rules.
Then allow me to make a special announcement. The weak point of my cutting-edge e-handbook is... when it's exposed to high temperatures for too long, it will suffer a meltdown and totally break!
I flippin' knew it!
You knew it?
Yeah, 'cause I found the handbook laying on the floor of the sauna.
The temperature in the sauna can reach over 200 degrees. Strange how you don't get burnt, huh? It's because as your sweat evaporates, it creates a cooling layer of air around your skin. If the hot air of the sauna were somehow pushed directly onto your skin, you'd definitely get fried. That layer of air would get blown away. That's why you may feel a burning when you move around. So when you're in a sauna, make sure to keep nice and still.
Wow, interesting. I learned one new fact today.
That is a mere trifling speck of knowledge.
Anyway, if you found the victim's handbook in the sauna, then the killer must have been purposely trying to raise its temperature in order to break it.
Meaning the culprit somehow knew its weakness.
But how'd they find out? Monokuma said he didn't tell anyone, right?
Indeed. Quite the mystery.
They had the sauna challenge and he probably had it on him and it broke it.
What if they found out by accident?
What do you mean by accident?
What if the killer took their own handbook into the sauna, not knowing its weakness, and it broke? They'd realize it was broken, of course, and it wouldn't be hard to figure out why. And once they had Chihiro's handbook, they knew they had an easy way to dispose of it.
I won't say it's not possible, but who would have done something like that? I don't know of anyone who took their handbook into the sauna.
I might know someone who did.
Whoa, seriously?
I think the one who may have taken their handbook into the sauna was...
Who might have brought the sauna into handbook into the sauna? Had to be the one who wore all their clothes to the sauna, wasn't it?
Here's my answer! Mondo, your handbook got broken in the sauna, didn't it?
What? Why? Why do you keep accusing him?
Mondo and Taka had an endurance contest in the sauna not too long ago, remember? And for the contest, Mondo just so happened to keep his school uniform on.
Uh-huh. That's why I was like, oh no, I know where this is going.
But little did he realize, he'd also left his handbook in one of his uniform pockets. And when it was all over, Mondo discovered that taking your handbook into the sauna could easily destroy it.
No, wait, hold on. You've got it all wrong. He would never kill. I don't accept this. Show me the proof. The actual solid proof.
I mean, I don't want to believe it either, but I found something that proves beyond a shadow of a doubt. broken handbook. Chihiro's
Let's test Makoto's assertion. If what he says is correct, then Mondo, you broke your own handbook.
In other words, if Mondo's handbook is actually broken, then that proves that what Makoto said is right.
Well, my goddamn handbook works just fine!
See? Look! Makoto was wrong after all! Mondo wouldn't hurt a fly!
Sure, Mondo's handbook broke during the Sauna Showdown. If I can prove that, then what will show the handbook Mondo has must actually be...
Let's test Makoto's assertion. If what he says is correct, then Mondo, you broke your own handbook.
In other words, if Mondo's handbook is actually broken, then that proves that what Makoto said is right.
Well, my goddamn handbook works just fine!
See? Look! Makoto was wrong after all! Mondo wouldn't hurt a fly!
And what will show the handbook Mondo has.
Let's test Makoto's assertion. If what he says is correct, then Mondo,
He must have
you
Chihiro's.
broke your own handbook.
In other words, if Mondo's handbook is actually broken, then that proves that what Makoto said is right.
Well, my goddamn handbook works just fine!
See? Look! Makoto was wrong after all! Mondo wouldn't hurt a fly!
I didn't mean to do that. During the Sauna Showdown, I can prove that. Then what will show the handbook Mondo has must show that the handbook Mondo actually has.
Let's test Makoto's
So
assertion.
he must have...
If what he
Chihiro's
says is
handbook.
correct, then Mondo, you broke your own handbook.
In other words, if Mondo's handbook is actually broken, then that proves that what Makoto said is right.
Well, my goddamn handbook works just fine!
Shoot!
Big contradiction somewhere. Okay. So I have Chihiro's handbook, the broken handbook. All right, you gotta give me a little bit. I gotta put it together. I'll be back in like 5 seconds when my brain finishes connecting these dots. Fucking dumb. He says his handbook works just fine, but one of the clues is literally the broken E handbook. So, if his handbook works just fine, then it shouldn't be broken.
Let's test Makoto's assertion. If what he says is correct, then Mondo, you broke your own handbook.
In other words, if
It was
Mondo's
easy. I'm just
handbook
fucking
is
stupid.
actually broken, then that proves that what Makoto said is right.
Well, my goddamn handbook works just fine!
No, that's wrong.
It shouldn't work just fine because you brought it into the fucking thing in the first place.
Mondo, the handbook you have right now, is it really yours?
Damn.
The fuck is that supposed to mean?
The broken handbook that was in the main hall. Isn't that one actually yours?
What the heck are you talking about?
What I mean is, I think Mondo swapped his handbook out for one that actually works. I think he took Leon's handbook and replaced it with his own. After all, Monokuma said himself that Leon's handbook never should have broken.
That's right! The punishment it suffered wasn't nearly enough to destroy it.
So then, the broken handbook in the main hall is actually Mondo's. Which would mean that the handbook Mondo has right now is actually Leon's, yes?
But doesn't that violate the school regulation that says loaning out your handbook is prohibited?
Well, here's how I look at it.
Ooh, sorry, I just plucked out my shoulder and just by moving.
There is a rule about loaning your handbook to another student, but if they're dead, they're not a student. It's kind of a gray area, I admit. But no worries. If anything, it just makes things more interesting. As such, I decree that exchanging handbooks with a corpse is not a violation of the rules.
Well, Mondo, if I'm wrong about this, you're welcome to say so. I'm happy to admit I made a mistake, but...
Son of a bitch!
What's wrong, bro? Come on! Tell him he's wrong! You are wrong! You have to be wrong! Everything you just said is wrong! You made it all up!
Okay, then why don't we look back on this case one more time, from the beginning? That way, everything will become clear, and we'll all see if I was right or wrong.
So, let's see here. She gets it. Chihiro runs into her. She sees that it's sticking out. Right? So she quickly tucks it and runs, and she runs into here. And then... go into the boys. And key. And Chihiro was putting it away. Chihiro was putting it away. Get put behind. Well, they would have worked out, right? Would have been working out. Come up behind Chihiro, and then leaving blood. Falls. And it rolls up the carpet. Would have stolen the handbook. To the girl. No. Bucking into the girls. Laying Chihiro down. Maybe swap the rooms. He comes in. Towards. And then it would have been writing Bloodlust on the wall. Would have been taking down the poster. There. Would have keyed into the girls' room. No, because we're not even in there yet. We've gotten the key card. Go in. Sees that. Goes to the boys. Keys in. In there. Person working out, right? Gets up. Kills. Gets this thing. Gets the poster. Gets the body. Gets the card. Keys into the girls. Then moves over. He comes through. He gets the extension cord. Ties her up. Gets the blood. Writes bloodlust. Hangs her up. And then would have been the sun. No. Would have ended there. Would have went into the sauna.
Here's exactly what happened. First, let's take a look back to before the incident. Last night, Celeste saw Chihiro in the warehouse, correct? At the time, she was apparently stuffing something into a duffel bag. That something was a blue tracksuit. You can confirm this, right, Celeste? With bag in hand, Chihiro headed out, even though it was officially nighttime. She made her way to the locker room, specifically the boys' locker room. But how could the victim, who was apparently a girl, access the boys' locker room?
Okay, so think that's actually I'm gonna need to take you. Bah. So would have been the boys' key card. It would allow Chihiro to get into the boys. Then they get in. The person's working out. Right? Working out. You come up behind, do that. Kill the smashy smash. Alright, I'm gonna take a second and cut it to when I actually have this in order, because I'm about to reevaluate everything I just did. I'll be back, I'll run through it with you guys before I click this. So I think I have a pretty good idea of how this goes. So, first, obviously, we're thinking about when he went and he got caught, okay? Next, he had to key into the room using his thing. So he walks into the boys' locker room specifically. Goes in, and I think it was still working out, because they had to have had the weapon come up behind them. Obviously, they show blood spatter. I feel like that works appropriately. And then that was all things. Then he moves the carpet, and then they move the poster and Chihiro into the girls' locker room. Then they key in, put everything up, lay the scene down, so it looks like this. Next, he comes in, and then he's got to go get the cord. He strains her up, takes the blood, writes bloodlust. Killer goes in, takes the pocketbook, throws it in. I think that's it.
The killer is you! With bag in hand, Chihiro headed out, even though it was officially nighttime. She made her way to the locker room, specifically the boys' locker room. But how could the victim, who was apparently a girl, access the boys' locker room? Simple. because she was really a he. Which is why he was able to use his own e-handbook to gain entrance to the boys' locker room. Once inside, he met with someone there. And the person he met was the one who killed him. It seems likely that the killer grabbed the nearby dumbbell, approached the unsuspecting Chihiro, and attacked him. And that's where the bloodstains on the poster and carpeting in the boys' locker room came from. It was likely in the heat of the moment. The body was arranged, but the murder itself felt unplanned. Which is why the killer hurried to try and hide the act. First, pulling up the bloodstained carpet. Then, removing the bloody poster. And finally carrying the corpse into the girls' locker room. A girl's handbook was necessary to get into the locker room, of course. But this alone doesn't prove that the killer was necessarily a girl. After all, Sayaka and Junko's handbooks had been placed in the main hall. Using one of those, a boy could get into the girls' locker room without much problem. And that's exactly how the killer did it. With the carpet and the poster they brought with them, they got to work. They changed the layout of the boys' and girls' locker room in what you might call a crime scene switch. That could have been the end of things, but no. Byakuya discovered the body and decided to intervene in the situation, making things even more complicated. So, after stumbling on the crime scene, he went and grabbed the extension cord from the library, and then he got to work. He used the cord to string up Chihiro's lifeless body. Then, using the victim's own blood, he left a grisly message there at the scene of the crime. He wanted to create the illusion that Genocide Jack was responsible for the slaughter. And around the same time that Byakuya was putting together this facade, the killer, having already disposed of Chihiro's bag and other belongings, arrived at the sauna. There, they planned to destroy the last piece of evidence, Chihiro's handbook. And just as the killer expected, the steamy sauna was enough to ruin the electronic gadget. Somehow, the killer knew that the handbook couldn't stand up to the heat of the sauna. And the reason they knew that is because the sauna had already wrecked their own handbook. And that's how it all played out. Isn't that right, Mondo Arata?
Complete.
Wait! No, this can't be right. Where's your evidence? Yeah, where's your evidence? You need evidence! You need proof! Without any proof, you can't pin any of this on him!
Evidence that Mondo is the killer, that's already revealed itself earlier in the trial. If I can somehow show where Mondo's handbook is right now. Once I do that, everything will become clear. New element has been added to bullet time battles. Would you like to hear more? Absolutely! Let's talk a little about fever time in Nega time. During the bullet time battle, if you press the space key, fever time will activate and this tempo will be forced to its max. At this point, even if you push the buttons at random, you won't miss. So you can push RMB, LMB, RMB, LMB, however you want to destroy the opponent's verbal assault. But this only lasts until your focus gauge runs out, so make the best possible use of your time. Of course, it wouldn't be fair if only you got to access a special item, right? So we've also prepared something called Nega Time that your opponent can use. The opponent activates Nega Time during bullet time battle. Your tempo marker will disappear, making it quite a bit tougher to hit the button in its rhythm. If you activate Fever Time at this point, no, never mind. I'm sure nothing would happen. I don't know what I was worried about. Unsurprisingly, if your action difficulty is set to gentle, the opponent won't use Nega Time. Well then, good luck and have fun. I don't wanna.
Show me some evidence. You're wrong. I won't listen. I refute you. False. Show me some evidence. I won't listen. False. I refuse to vote. Show me some evidence. You're wrong. I won't listen. I refute you. False. Show me some evidence. I won't listen. False. You're corrupt. Show me some evidence.
This should prove it.
Damn, that was easy. Way easier than last
Thinking
time.
so far is right, Mondo must have replaced his broken handbook with Leon's. In which case, we can just check each of our handbooks right now. Once we do that, we'll...
We don't gotta do that.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah, I did it. I killed him.
Damn. I didn't even have to fight him. Damn, I did good. Well, that certainly was an interesting trial to go through. We'll get into the end of this trial, the motive behind the murder, and his punishment in the next episode. Until then, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, remember to hit like and subscribe to see when I post the next one. I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.